Lars, can you explain to us how can a company actually use the platform when they're forming the strategy?
So when it comes to the decision process, the strategy process that this can be used for, I have to come with my own view on these things from working with so many organizations. So let's start with the process you have with a board. So the very traditional process is, okay, there's a quarterly board meeting or whatever, and sometimes before that, the board members each receive a board package that they have to read, and then they come and then they get a presentation from management, and then they comment on the board package and make some decisions. But I like much more a fluent, ongoing process where board members, actually, I like to have, that you chat online. You make a chat forum with the board and you chat all the time about thoughts you have. And so that when the board members arrive at a board meeting, if it's not online, then they actually don't need a management presentation, because they know what's happening in the company from the ongoing process. And I like to have the same regarding discussions of what's going on in the world. That this is not something you get from a big report that somebody makes, and then you get this enormous PDF that you have to read. No, something that you get all the time, every day, in snackable doses. You get a little alert that there's a new predictions for your sector. You get information about the startup in your sector just got some new funding. You hear that there's a new technology breakthrough and so on. And on the system, on the Supertrends system, you can indicate what you want to follow. So there's a lot of subjects, but we recommend that you do it a little bit broad, because very often what's interesting and can be unique to you is to find some combination between what you do and what somebody who are not formally in your sector are doing, but which can be applied in your sector. AI, 3D printing, new financial processes, whatever. So it's when you see these unique combinations that are a little bit far out, that's where you find the really good ideas. You also find the threats, what can destroy your company if you have this broader view. So this is what we support, and if you ask, is this nice to have or need to have? Ooh, I mean, in my opinion, I think you need to know stuff. In the sense, you need to be fluent. You need to speak future. Sometimes I've discovered that I didn't know stuff I ought to know, and I've kind of learned from that. I remember once I was on a sailing trip with a friend. He was the CEO of a bank, and then we talked about the future of energy. And then he says, yeah, there's also thorium. And then I was like, what? And he said, you haven't heard of thorium? So then he explained me that in the 1960s, somebody had experimented with using thorium for making nuclear power, and it was very efficient, but it was dumped for stupid reasons. And then, so I Googled it and I found out about thorium. But it annoyed me that I didn't know already. And later in my career, I spoke with somebody who was in charge of investing for a very substantial energy fund. So I asked him, what do you think about thorium? And he was like, what? So I think you have an enormous advantage in life, in business, in your career, on behalf of society, on behalf of your company, whatever it is, if you're fluent in technology, if you are in the know about stuff that is happening, and also about the most likely future. I know that you cannot know for sure what the future will bring, but you can know a lot more than nothing. And there are many ways to do that. You ask AI to scan the whole world for what has been said and predicted. You ask experts about what they think. You use AI to try to find combinations that haven't been seen by anybody. You take exponential laws and just rolling forward. Say, okay, so we have 3 different exponential laws impacting the technologies that we use. Where will those laws be in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years? And what does that mean? What if they do what we can predict? What will be possible? And then we look at what the experts predict will be doable at that time, and then you can check, does that jive with the exponential law? Is one of them wrong? Or does that coincide? So does it make sense? Oh, it makes sense. So we better do something about it. So in that sense, for me, the way I think it's neat to know. And I did it. I made Supertrends because I didn't have it and I wanted it. So it is for me, at least.
Thank you, Lars. That makes a lot of sense. I guess it's a little bit like driving a car. When you're selecting the strategy for a company, you would want to see the road ahead as clearly as possible. You want to see it clearly, but you also want to see quite far. And here I can see how the Supertrend platform can help the companies both see clearly and far into the future.